Hey everybody, welcome to Thought Jar. My name is James Benefiel, and I am joined by the fantastic Adam Bourne and the marvelous Ryan Benton. And today we have a very special guest. This is Ryan's new cat, Patrick.
We got Patrick here.
He is real snuggly, real.
Yeah.
He's a
really
big
cute.
cat. I don't know if you have like good scope of how big he is.
He's beautiful.
He's just a whole ham of a cat. Really.
For all of those people listening, and not seeing, he's a large gray cat.
If you
the
were a
cutest thing
fan
ever.
of cats but not video podcasts,
Yeah.
I'd say you can just watch the first minute of this episode and then you can get a good look at Patrick.
I would say that
I
sounds
imagine-
like a room temperature IQ thing to like cats and not like video versions of our podcasts that are available on YouTube.
What are you doing, man? Like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
say, subscribe on YouTube.
Yes.
Watch
Completely
Star
agree.
Jar.
Yeah, please. It's been a little bit since we've had an episode.
It
It's
has
been,
been.
It's been a lot of bit.
what's
actually.
today? The 25th of January,
25th
and the
of
last
January.
time we recorded was over 2 months ago.
Happy New Year, guys.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
25 years since Y2K, and
Dude.
everybody thought the world was going to end.
Can you imagine like all our parents being terrified that the world was just gonna end?
I had someone come into work, and they were telling me that they were like 18 on, their birthday was like on,
New Year's Day.
yeah, and they were like partying like crazy, and,
It's like,
or no, they had just turned 21.
Oh,
and they,
word.
Did he
Word.
think the world was gonna end?
she was like,
she
she
did.
totally was convinced. She was like, yeah, we're just gonna party and see what happens. And then it hit midnight and everything rolled over, and it was all completely okay.
like,
So
wow.
much more happened.
Turns out the computers were fine. They could count to 2000.
Yeah, they couldn't even imagine what would happen in 2001.
Yeah.
Maybe would Y2K have been a good alternative to 9/11?
I don't know. I honestly
Maybe.
I
don't.
don't know.
It
The
was a
world,
year off.
yeah,
Yeah.
the world was completely destroyed. The world would have been completely destroyed. Yeah.
So, a very, very, very late happy holidays from Thought Jar.
Yep.
Yeah.
Happy holidays.
So
Happy holidays.
I've been exceptionally busy because everyone's family wants to say hi, and then life events and stuff. So like haven't had a chance to see your lovely faces in this room in a while, but I'm happy I'm here now.
Yeah, likewise. It's been a little bit, but we got through the holiday rush, and so we're
What was your favorite Christmas gift? You get a lot of Christmas gifts this year?
not really, man. I mean, we're in our basically mid-20s, and we're not really.
Are you just not like a gift person? You think?
I am, but I don't know. I didn't really.
Do you think like other like anniversaries and like other holidays are more important for gift giving?
Yeah, so for me, I've always viewed like, yeah, I don't know, but it's less about the like. I'm saying this honestly. I'm not trying to be a cornball. It is less about like the gifts during Christmas time, and it's more about just the fact that I can like. Such a dick. It's more about the fact that I just get to see the family that I do have, because I don't have
Yeah.
a lot of family, period.
Okay.
So
All right, I get it because.
now for my birthday, y'all better be popping off with them gift cards. I want to see
Yes.
lots of them.
Dunkin' Donuts.
Dunkin' Donuts, lava cake latte,
Caramel craze.
caramel crisp, butter pecan latte,
I
butter
love-
pecan coffee.
I love their signature lattes.
God,
They're
those
so
loaded hash
freaking
browns.
good.
You like their loaded hash browns, bro?
I haven't had their.
You
Loaded
fuck with
hash
their
browns.
loaded? Do you have their loaded hash
I've had
browns?
the
All
donut
right.
holes. The
I-
assorted donut holes.
I prefer like a breakfast sandwich or like a burrito. Like I like that's what I like from them. Is there like paninis and stuff? It's like ooh.
Oh yeah, I've never dabbled in anything other than like I think the loaded hash browns might be the only food item I've ever consumed from Dunkin'.
Damn.
But I've heard they compete pretty much neck and neck
I've
with
never-
Starbucks. So
Never even.
I
That
know
was a
I know
thing.
Starbucks I think is too expensive for what you get.
yeah.
I think I was late to this game, but I think Dunkin's just better in terms of like a coffee.
You know, I totally agree now. I think as far as food goes, from what I've heard, most people agree that Dunkin' reigns king.
Mhm.
However, when you're talking about just strictly beverages,
Mhm.
I think I've had a lot I think
Also, I don't
Starbucks.
think you can write an essay in a Dunkin' Donuts. Like you can write it. Like you can write an essay.
So
in a
true,
Starbucks.
so true. Dunkin' Donuts kind of remind me of like liminal space McDonald's. Like
Like if I go to the bathroom, am I gonna fall into a different reality?
they're kind of freaky, man. And no one's ever sitting in them. They just aren't as warm and welcoming. Something about a Starbucks, just you walk in and you smell all the depressed people that are working there, and you just
It's like, oh, you're making
Yeah.
minimum wage. Do you think you deserve more?
depressed people are everywhere. I just want to make that
Oh, yeah.
clarification. I'm
Oh,
not saying
definitely.
they're
But
depressed.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, Starbucks. first and foremost, I would like to say that was a joke. I think people do need more for their wages. Anyway,
Yes.
I don't want anyone to get the wrong idea. The worker should get his wage, and it should be more. Secondly, sorry, I don't want anyone to think I'm a dirty dirty capitalist. No,
No, dude, James, you
no.
can say it. You're dirty fucking capitalist.
Yeah.
Dirty
You're-
fucking capitalist.
You're a dirty capitalist, brother.
No, no, I don't control the railways or the means of production. that's fascist, but not far off.
The point still stands. but yeah, so no, holidays were good. I don't really have a favorite present per se. How was your time spent with your family?
It was good. Went home with my parents. They had a Christmas get together, little meal. Dad gave us. He gave us our Christmas gifts from my parents early. He gave it to us on Thanksgiving actually, because he was like, "Well, I have them here, and I don't know when the next time you're gonna be here is, so I just wanted to give them to you now." He got RJ and I customized Bears jerseys.
Nice.
So they have Jay Benefiel and R Benefiel and the numbers we wore when we played football.
It's awesome, man.
Yeah. I love them, especially cool now. When I go to a Bears game, I can wear that. And like halfway through, because we were watching the Lions and the Bears on Thanksgiving Day, I just look over and I see my dad start to get. I'm not laughing because it's funny. I look over and I just see my dad getting a little misty eyed, and I'm like, "Hey RJ, Dad's so happy he's getting a little misty eyed." He's like, "Shut up,
No.
don't look at me." And I'm like, "I got you."
Let him have his moment.
Yeah,
Let the dog have his day.
No, I was like, no, I appreciate it. I know why he's getting misty eyed, because he's looking at us. He's like, my boys are men, or something, probably something like that. And it was nice. It was nice to know that, like, always nice to see a reminder that my dad really cares and stuff like that.
Man.
And nothing wrong with your philosophy on gifts and stuff.
Yeah,
I still see Christmas as like a time of giving.
Yeah.
Even though it does fuel that economy of ours, but
No. I totally agree. Like, I love giving gifts. I love giving gifts. I don't really care much to like necessarily receive gifts. It's not like I don't live. I'm sure neither do you. But I'm saying, like, there are definitely people who like love to look forward to Christmas time and the holidays because it's like, oh, it's just another excuse to get stuff. You know what I mean?
Because like as I got older, like obviously when you're a little kid, like you want more stuff.
Yeah.
Because you don't really,
The childhood materialism.
you can't quantify your gifts unless you just, because at that stage of life it's just number. It's
Right.
like, I need this number, or it wasn't a good Christmas, holiday,
Yep,
birthday,
yep.
whatever. But as I got older, especially like into high school, I found that I was asking for less and less because there was less and less I truly wanted.
Yep.
And I could definitely see a correlation between like the gifts I was asking for were also getting more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So I realized, like, well, I'd rather have one really nice thing than a bunch of like tinier, like less nice things.
Yeah.
Quite truly, quality over quantity,
Yeah.
as my frontal lobe formed. But my parents have always found ways to like give, like, even if I didn't explicitly ask for something, it's like, well, we don't want to give you just one thing for like the holidays. So
Yeah.
here's like a T-shirt or like a little gadget we saw while we
Sure,
were
man.
out.
The thoughtfulness when an individual goes and purchases gifts extends so much farther than just to the price tag. You know, it's
Like, you saw that and you thought of me, and I really appreciate that.
yeah. Ryan, what about you? How were your holidays?
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
Cool.
it was a subpar holiday.
Nice.
I mean,
It did ultimately come and go.
it did come and go. It was very fast. It felt
Yeah.
like life was moving like a million miles per hour.
True, bro.
Didn't have time to edit anything for this podcast. Didn't have time to record.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was, in terms of this podcast, it was a total dead zone.
was,
for
uh,
It
me.
was a dead zone for
Yep.
us.
It was like, because I remember we talked about recording one time,
Yeah.
and we were like, all right, it's gonna happen, and that day came, and then none of us said anything in the chat.
I don't remember what happened. Yeah.
And I was like, neither of them were like, hey, are we still recording? So I was like, I'm not gonna be the one to do it, and it just didn't end up happening. That's okay.
We'll
Whatever.
try to do better in the new year, but
Yeah.
We know you're itching for more Thought Jar.
and
Yeah.
hopefully by next year we could I don't know, stack up a bunch of episodes or something.
We definitely
Yeah.
can figure out a better
Put some things on
recording
back
schedule
order.
as we get better ideas on how we want this podcast to be run, but that comes with time.
Yeah, seriously. We're still, this is a novel thing for us, so thank you for bearing with our
Yeah.
digital infancy.
Thanks for coming and listening to three grown men yap for a good 45, 50 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, those guys at Thoughtjar are pretty good.
Yeah. Speaking of yapping for the next 45 or 50 minutes, we're going to be talking about not like we haven't already talked a lot about this, but we're going to talk about music.
Music
And we're
is
gonna-
the main.
This is actually like the main thing that we're going to talk about. We like to
Yeah.
include it a little bit in every episode because it's something that we all enjoy, you know, and it's something that everybody can understand to some degree.
Like,
Yeah.
listen, you've been on this earth, you know music. It's everywhere. You can find music in anything.
Mhm.
I always like, listening to rain, or like in the summer when like the cicadas are out, like July when it's like there's music in that to me. Not to get too profound with it. But
No. Yeah.
definitely just finding like tunes and like finding melodies where there traditionally aren't, I think is like, it's just human nature. Either everyone does that in my mind, either everyone does that or I'm some disgusting freak, because
No.
I think to find music is to be human.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's how I believe that's how like the earliest forms of early American music started, or not early American,
been
early
here.
American music, early American music,
Just like
Number-
classical music.
early human music, like the
Yeah.
first things that people tried to do that were what we would define as music were the emulations of sounds that they would hear in nature, and then they would do that. And they would hear tones and pitches because it was very tonal. Like it wasn't the way that we construct music now, based out of like notes and arranged music patterns. It was very uncoordinated. Very like there was no
Percussive?
There was no
Yeah.
measured or anything. There was no was tempo per se.
It was more beats than melodies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because I mean, more the
Fat beats. Bro.
yeah, man.
yeah.
Day one, humans fat beats. But I think it's mainly, or not mainly. It's a lot of those first early instruments, like you said, they were all percussive, or it's just tapping and stuff like that. So I imagine, I'm trying to recall as much music history as I can that I've learned. I feel like instruments as we know them developed over time because technology grew, and we learned that, if you take a string and you pull it taut, it'll play something, and if you modify how taut it is or the thickness of the string or whatever, it can do different pitches and then if you put them together, you can harmonize and stuff, and it just all builds out on one after another.
And what's crazy is stringed instruments have been around for so long, and I'm not very well versed on my knowledge of archaic stringed instruments, but I know, I mean, the lute is one that's been around since. I honestly don't know. I don't want to be fact checked here, but I think it's been around for like. Or actually, Ryan, fact check me.
Yeah,
Actually, you know
I
what? Fact check me.
What were some of the earliest stringed?
Earliest stringed instrument.
It's not even like
Yeah.
string. Like if we're talking human, we're also talking like mainly percussive. So I imagine like animal skin pulled over an empty space to make
Yeah.
like vibrations, to make like basic hand
Yeah,
drums and
yeah.
stuff, and then like bells and whistles. Most of them were just like dried fruit with seeds or something in them that
Yeah,
would like
I'm
make
sure.
a sound. And then with wood instruments, just like hollowing out like a thin thing of wood, poking holes in it to play different tunes that make
Yeah.
like a recorder or like a pan flute, stuff like that.
Yeah, and I'm sure like before the invention of any of that, obviously we were, beating and thumping on things that could resonate, and we found that things in nature, like rocks and wood, have different resonances and different frequencies at which they vibrate. So we're like, oh, well, these make sounds. So then I'm sure, I just wonder where the pipeline from beating on rocks.
Became like, if I hollow this out, and blow
Yeah,
into it,
if
it
I
makes-
pull a piece of like dried skin over this, then it's like a makeshift drum, basically.
It was
But
the lyre.
the lyre, that's
The lyre was the
the lyre,
oldest string instrument.
when
that
was
was-
what year we got on that? Are we talking BC?
4,725 years
Somewhere
ago.
around that? Yeah. So
Yeah,
Oh,
was
shit,
when
so
it
like
was
5,000
invented.
BC?
Yeah, wow.
2700 BCE. So 2700, 2000.
My math was horribly
4700. 4725. Yeah, 4,275.
Hell yeah.
You're good, man. Hey, you know what? A long ass time ago.
Yeah,
Really
super-
long time ago.
That's wild. I would not have thought it was ever. I was gonna say like the 11th
Century.
11th century, 11th or 10th
Like
century.
like
Not-
Bronze Age,
Yeah.
medieval stuff.
yeah.
Not BCE.
Wow.
But
Yeah.
we've music is human,
Yeah.
and to be human is to find music.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I know that like my experience personally. I mean, all three of us here, I imagine, have deep backgrounds in music. I personally my dad would he had a nice stereo when I was growing up. So he'd play music on that, or he'd get his guitar out, or get his bass out, and just play along to something on the speakers. My grandma played the organ for the church that she went to. So music, not only like talking about like familial or like age and stuff, but I've been around it since I was born, essentially. And then you learn it in school. You're playing with like the boom tubes or whatever those things are called, and like the basic xylophones,
The boom whackers or whatever.
whatever those things
Is
are
that,
called.
is that what they're called? Or I just totally make that
That
up.
lady on
clue.
TikTok who like plays all of them all in a row.
Oh,
It looks like she's not
yeah,
moving,
yeah,
So it
yeah.
looks like she's just vibrating a little
Yep,
bit.
yep. Through the fire and flames and the boom whacker.
Oh, dude, the boom whacker, top tier instrument.
Not the trademark name, I'm sure. I'm sure there's an actual name.
I'm
for
sure
it.
there's some actual name, but boom whacker's way cooler.
Yeah. So the boom whacker.
the boom whacker.
Yeah.
Adam, what about you, man?
Where my boom whackers
What-
at?
What makes you a musician, huh?
I've been playing instruments for a very long time. I started playing.
Probably the most musical out of all of us.
He's the most musical out of all of us
I'm-
guys.
I don't know.
at least like in terms of practiced instrument.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I was 7, I started taking piano lessons. I was classically trained, and then I did that for I want to say it was like 5 years. It wasn't that long, relatively speaking, but like 5 years when you start at 7 is a long time. You pick up on a lot very
I
quickly.
mean, you think about it. You're what, 24? That's still like a fifth of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's still a long time.
Yeah. So 23, 24 in April.
I forgot you were a baby.
Sucker.
I'm a
Oh, I
baby
forgot
too.
both of your
I'm a
2001
baby.
babies.
Yeah.
Oh, dang it. I'm an old
Yep.
man.
Yep. Bye.
What am I? Like 6 months older than both of you?
Yeah, that's right. but yeah, so I started doing that, and subsequently decided. So like, okay, more context. I had wanted to play the guitar for like ever. Thought it was the coolest thing ever. I could not tell you when, but I do remember. This when we were all in first grade.
Yeah.
And we had a field trip that we went to the Shedd Aquarium on.
Really?
I had an iPod, I believe, and one of the only songs on the iPod was "Down with the Sickness" by Disturbed.
That's your like, I really want to play the guitar.
And can the other song take a wild guess? It was a metal song technically.
Metal song.
Guess. Super popular metal song. Everybody knows it. I just mentioned it but like a couple of minutes ago.
Oh. Master of Puppets.
It was Through the Fire and Flames.
Through the fire.
So I had
Sorry, I was thinking about the boom whackers. Couldn't.
so the 2 songs I had on this iPod were "Down with the Sickness" and "Through the Fire and Flames," and I put these songs on repeat for like the 2 hours that it took
I was gonna
us.
say it's a long trip.
It's
to
a
Shedd Aquarium.
long drive. It's a long, lengthy drive.
That's on the lake.
So it's probably like 11 minutes worth of music, because I think Through the Fire and Flames is like 7-ish minutes and Down with the Sickness is like, I don't know, 4. So like 11 minutes on repeat for 2 hours. It's a lot of time. Anyway, so then I subsequently started playing the guitar when I was like 12, took 1 lesson, cried in the lesson. So didn't want to do that. And then I just taught myself.
How to play guitar?
Yeah. So I've played the guitar, played the bass. I've got like 5 or 6 guitars. I have accumulated quite the collection of things. And I love music, man. We'll talk more about that when we get a little deeper into this. But yeah, it's been a part of me. I invest a lot of time into learning about music. So Ryan, yourself, you have a very musically inclined family. I mean, you and Anna.
Yeah. My wife is a music
Sorry,
performance
I just
major.
doxed your wife.
Anna.
We haven't
are we
said her
saying
name
names?
before.
She loves music.
Yeah.
And I love music too.
Mm.
My family was really into it. My mom's music therapy major in college. She went to
I
ICE.
did not know that.
Oh, really?
Yep. And she obviously works at that facility now, but
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I mean, she really enjoyed what she was doing in college, and it's actually what Anna might be interested in doing.
Hey, there's
Eventually.
really good money in that too.
Yeah. And then my dad plays the drums, so
Oh yeah, I
he's-
remember
he's done it his whole life.
We remember.
so-
every time going. If we were at the Benton's house from like
Yeah.
what was it, like 2009 to 2012, and that drum, because that wasn't the drum kit like right next to the computer.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
It was set up sometimes though.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, Mr. Benton,
Yeah.
lay it down. He's like, just like that too. He just, it was just a snare and a hi hat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
So it turns out,
little jig.
his dad was actually a jazz musician. Fun fact.
No,
No, it was a kid.
Yeah. No, he's pretty good at the drums though. Yeah, it's we all have good relationships with music, I would say. Our families are really into music,
We were all
things
in,
like that.
we were in band. I think at the first year they offered it up into
Yeah.
senior in high school. So we all played brass instruments. So you were a trumpet, you were a tuba, and I was a trombone. So there's another way we
So
are.
there's a myriad of experiences that we all have, and some that we share that give us a lot of basically makes this part of our roots.
Yeah, and then outside of like instrumental music, we've all been singing for years.
Yeah.
And that's all kind of culminated into that concert that we went to
Yeah.
this past month.
True.
So
Yeah,
Cool.
so we had the pleasure of going to the Salt Shed in Chicago, Illinois. I believe I think 2 weeks ago, and we saw. Say, help me out if I remember. I forget here, but I believe it was in order: Ben Quad,
Yep.
Koyo,
Yep.
Origami Angel, and then Knuckle Puck.
Your
I believe what was it, like Knuckle Puck's 10th anniversary for their first album.
copacetic. Yeah.
Yeah. Very fun show.
It was
Yeah.
cool. It was really, really
I
good.
first and foremost love the Salt Shed as a venue.
Mm-hmm.
It was the second time I've been there.
the vibe was very punk rock.
It was.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I thought it was fun.
I think going into that, I only had heard of Origami Angel and Koyo. Koyo I had seen live once before. Origami Angel was only like a handful of songs that were pointed out to me a couple months ago. So I was like, okay, I'll give them a listen. Origami Angel was by far my favorite part of that show. For a two-man group, they had the energy of
Awesome.
of-
Seriously,
oh my
so
God, it
high
was
energy. They
awesome.
were awesome. If anybody listening ever has the opportunity to see Origami Angel, highly recommend you take it. Very fun. The front guy who does the vocals, plays.
Artwork, yeah.
He's awesome. He carries the energy of like four dudes. He's awesome.
And their drummer is also very talented.
Yeah. Yep.
It was my favorite part of that entire set. Oh, bless you, Patrick.
Oh, we got a little
Oh, he
sneezer.
snotted
Oh, my.
all over the couch.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Oh,
poor
he's-
baby.
You got another one.
He's getting over his cold, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we
That's
should've-
okay. Just keep sneezing like right there, man. You're good.
Oh, he's
Yeah,
going,
you get the snot off your nose.
time for a bath. Yeah.
Oh, poor baby.
Poor guy.
Oh.
Oh. He's itching his nose. He's itching it real hard.
Oh, you're okay, buddy. I'm not making fun of you. It's just you snotted all over the couch. How come every time you bring a cat in here, there's just some sloppy mishap?
Oh, I don't know. It's okay though.
That's okay, buddy. I hope you feel better. Everyone, I want Get Better Patrick in the chat.
Yeah.
In the comments of
Get
this
better soon,
episode.
Patrick.
Yeah.
If you're a true thought jar, if you're a jar head,
Yeah.
I think is what we refer to
you're a jar
our
head.
friends.
Yeah.
True jar heads.
Yeah. Dang, we need to get him as the thumbnail.
Yeah.
He's
yeah.
cute as hell, bro.
He's a
Seriously,
nice looking
people need to see his beautiful little
Yeah,
face.
so this is a good segue. This is
Yeah.
a good sidebar.
Yeah. But
Listen,
yeah,
listen to Patrick.
The freaking concert was fun though. I enjoyed being. I've never been in like the pit of a concert before.
Yeah, and we were
like
right next.
we were
to
right up there.
yeah, you
And
guys
it
were.
was-
When
it was
Koyo
awesome.
when they started spinning, I was like, oh, we're like 3 people away from that. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, we might get sucked in.
When things started to get like compressed and everybody started to like move
Mm-hmm.
and stuff, that was when it was like, oh, this is kind of fun.
I'll preface. Actually not preface, but I will. I'll caveat what that you guys are saying with the fact that I was not with them. So for anybody
Yes.
listening,
Yeah.
Ryan and James were with how many other people? Did
there
you
were
guys?
7
4?
of us.
Yeah, there was a, it was
you
a
guys
big
were-
group.
So they went with 4 or 5 other people. They drove up separately.
Yeah.
I went with my girlfriend, and her and I ended up, because general admission tickets were sold out when we went and looked. I ended up buying premium seating. So if anybody's ever been to the Salt Shed, you'll know what I'm talking about. For people who have not been, the way it's oriented is it's in an old salt factory.
Old Morton Salt Factory
Yep.
that they refurbished.
Yep. So we were basically kind of like up on the side of what would have been the old warehouse in like operatic seating that was
Yeah.
overlooking
Essentially, yeah.
a huge floor.
And
So-
honestly, I just like depends on the performer. Honestly, I'd prefer being able to sit and then stand for the sets that I like.
Yeah.
And, like want to like be higher energy with. But there are a few things that replace like being in the pit.
Totally agree, man. I mean, every other show that I've been to, I believe every other show I've ever been to, I've been to a lot of shows. I have been to a ton of shows, and I've always been standing. But yeah, that show was really cool. I know that 10 years ago, I was not listening to Knuckle Puck. I was listening to a lot of metal, all metal, and I knew some people that liked Knuckle Puck, and honestly, after seeing that show, I completely understand the hype behind them. I get it.
Yeah.
But again, it's like when you're exposed to something at a certain age, probably in like your early teens, early
Yeah.
mid-teens, that coming of age
The
sort of period.
formative years.
Yeah, precisely. That is basically what sticks with you. You always gravitate back towards that thing. So like it was clear for me. So like where I was seated, and I'm sure this was this way with you guys, but like there were a lot of people who were, I'm guessing, in their like early 30s, and like for them 10 years ago, or they're probably in their late 20s, like 10 years ago, some of those people were 18, and like that's a pretty important and potent year for a lot of
Formative,
people.
yeah.
Yeah. So like and that honestly, like if anybody listening has never listened to Knuckle Puck, their lyrics are fucking sad. they're very like sad, and the artist, I think the guitar player basically said like a lot of these lyrics don't resonate with us anymore. And I think that's when they played In Your Crosshairs, which was like, it's a very sad song, and the lyrics are very like sad, but I think that there's a lot to be said for, what can be learned from these sad lyrics. And yeah, I don't know. I could go on and on about like emo and pop punk lyricism, because I think it's very unique in music. But yeah, it was a great show. Great show.
If you had to rank the 4 bands, I know where I'd rank them, but if you had to rank them based on that show, how could you rank them? Would you?
Yeah, I would definitely rank Origami Angel. I've got to say I'd rank Knuckle Puck first, man. They were awesome. They were so good. Origami Angel would go second. Ben Quad was surprisingly really good.
Sleepers.
I
wasn't expecting to enjoy them as much as I did.
So they're going on tour with a band that is local to Bloomington Normal called Harrison Gordon. And they are supporting this huge band called Free Throw. Free Throw is an emo band. They're awesome. They're really cool. I saw them late last year they were supporting this band called 4 Year Strong, and then the band that I really wanted to see, One Step Closer, baby.
Nice.
One Step Closer, represent.
Nice.
Shout out One Step Closer. I love that band. But yeah, Ben Quad was really good.
And
And then Last Koya.
So I agree almost fully. I personally would swap Origami Angel with Knuckle Puck. I loved Origami Angel's set so much. I thought it was the best energy of the night. I enjoyed their music the most. That does not Knuckle Puck was a very, very close second though. I think Ben Quad gets third place just because
Koya wasn't that good.
it's because no they get third place because Origami Angel and Knuckle Puck were just that much like they all like those 3 sets were fantastic, so it's just like unfortunately someone has to be third.
Yeah.
And then we talked about like Koyo kind of just it.
That was the thing. I hyped myself up for Koyo because that was RJ's favorite band.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe he was like, buy the sweatshirt so you blend in with everybody. And I was like,
So
okay.
you bought the sweatshirt? Just
I bought the
It
sweatshirt.
was their end of year sale, right?
Yeah. And I was like, dude, I'm so pumped. And RJ was like, yeah, he's gonna like take his shirt off during the set and everything, and like
I'm
go
pretty
crazy.
I'm pretty
and-
sure that when Koyo came out, the only 2 members that I recognized from the first time I saw them was their bassist and their drummer.
I really enjoyed their drummer actually.
Their
I thought
drummer-
their drummer was really good.
he was sick.
The first
he was freaking awesome.
He looked like he should have been in a metal band.
yeah.
And I think first to second viewing, at least I've seen them live twice. The first time they were playing their older stuff, and I like that music more.
more than their newer.
Because I'm pretty
stuff,
sure they
yeah.
exclusively played their new album at this show, right?
I honestly don't
if you,
really know.
If you know,
I don't know.
And it's just a different. It's a different vibe than the earlier stuff.
Yeah, to be honest, I am not a huge Koyo guy. I will say I love that they were representing Long Island hardcore. So like Long Island has a really interesting hardcore scene. The East Coast has various hardcore communities. Long Island hardcore being like very DIY, very like, I wouldn't say like anti-system, but they're very much like, we're Long Island and that's who we are. We love representing.
That's our identity.
Yeah.
And we were so proud to be.
So
from.
like Incendiary is another
Yeah.
Long Island hardcore band that I
cool.
saw a couple of years ago and they were awesome.
Would You See It is Koyo's new
Yes.
album.
Yes.
So
that
is the one that we are talking about that is not as good as their older stuff.
it's still good. And I think
Yeah,
one
I
of
think
our
it's good.
one of our mutual friends put it best is if that is what's making them popular and giving them the ability to keep performing and keep getting new fans, dude, go for it.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's just me personally. I'm not a huge fan of that.
Yep.
It's not gonna keep me from listening to Koyo. It's just
Mm-hmm.
it's not what I seek out. So
Yeah.
I'm not like, oh, dude, they played their new album. Oh, that's cool. And they still put on a good show.
Yeah, my thing is, and I will say this very briefly, but I feel very strongly about the fact that there are a lot of artists in alternative music that I've been listening to for a very, very, very long time. I mean, not like super long, but like, over 10 years is a pretty long time.
Yeah.
Who are not, I'm going to throw this word out, and people don't like this word. I think there's a lot of people who have really good potential to make really good original music and they sell out because they know they found an algorithm and the algorithm for making that kind of music works and people like it. So this is a subjective example. Nobody come at me, please. 2 bands that I think have sold out. Bad Omens and kind of Sleep Token. I think Sleep Token kind of sold out. I think we'll really see if they've sold out or not when they release another album and what that's like. Because I really liked Take Me Back to Eden. It's a really great album, their newest album. And then I liked Bad Omens' album, but they had some singles on there. And if you know what I'm talking about, that really just, they ran it into the ground. They ran it into the ground, and now bands are just trying to be like them. So maybe it's not that they've sold out, but it's that now there's not a lot of originality. So I guess what I'm trying to say, full circling this, is that it's really nice that people have a sense of identity, like Long Island hardcore or like Chicago hardcore, and that they like to stick to that, and they do.
And that will grow and evolve as they do.
Yeah.
And that's good. That's a good thing. I think longevity in terms of what makes a band good, it is the ability to either find their sound and continue to make that sound, or be able to adapt to the time and what's popular. Like a lot of, because my music taste predominantly is older music, stuff from the 60s and 70s, and these artists that are still alive, who have been making music for the better half of 6 decades now, it's real sink or swim in terms of like, are they still making music for the time? Are they collaborating with artists now, or are they do they have a number of hits way back when, and then they know they can just keep performing them and still being popular because it's that good.
I'd imagine performing Yellow Submarine for 50 years straight gets pretty old.
But you know what? Ringo still makes it look like it's fun as hell.
I love it, man.
He's like, hey, check this out. You ever heard this one before? This is Get By With a Little Help with My Friends. And he's like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know. They seem to have fun.
Well, because, and then also, like, I think, if we're going to, like, talking about the Beatles specifically, the 2 remaining Beatles, Ringo and Paul, they both been making music since the 60s. Whether when it was they were the Beatles, or with their other bands like Wings or Ringo and Ringo's All-Star Band. He really leaned into that star stuff in the 70s and 80s. It's really funny. But, you look into, like this century, at the turn of the century, you'd think Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr would be relics.
Yeah.
No, I mean, Paul has done nothing but collaborate with other talented musicians. Like in the 70s, it was his wife Linda and numerous different artists for Wings. And then in the 80s, he had several collaborations with Michael Jackson. In the 90s, I think he And then like in the 90s, he had like Jeff Lynne from Electric Lights Orchestra, and I don't remember his name. His name escapes me at this time. But there was an amount of time where he was performing with, oh shoot, someone was producing him at the time. Oh man, what band is it? I think it was Radiohead's producer in like the 90s. I could be wrong, but it's a band in that like scene. And he continues to shape. It's still his style, but it adapts over time.
Yeah.
And it's been like not like, and also Paul McCartney has had so many songs that not all of them are hits. He has some serious duds, as anyone would have. I mean,
Yeah.
a man who's been alive since 1941.
And has been making music like his entire life.
His
pretty
entire
much.
life,
Seriously.
essentially.
Yeah.
To have that sense of longevity, you got to keep doing, keep evolving and keep adapting. I mean, he's had collaborations with like Rihanna
Yeah.
and Kanye,
Yeah.
and he spoke very highly of like Taylor Swift and stuff like that. So he's been around before. He's it's not just like, oh, he plays the same handful of songs that made him popular in the 60s. Yeah, he'll still play those songs, but that's just because they're, some of his most popular songs. And then, but you get stuff like, Live and Let Die, which was written for a Bond movie.
Yeah.
Then he explodes
Yep.
Yep.
every time. I love that. I love those videos
That
every
meme
time.
is amazing.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
Live and let die.
oh, Paul. Oh no, he's dead. Or is he?
Yeah. He's not dead.
That's a callback.
That's a throwback to our last episode.
So if you can remember way back.
2 months ago. Yeah, so I mean the show was good, but I think that was a good way to start off the year. And with that being said, we were going to, for the latter half of this episode, we were actually going to talk about some of the music that we found really enjoyable in 2024, because for me personally, awesome year for music. Awesome year all around for
Agreed.
music. I think this, to be honest, I think I've had this conversation before with one of my coworkers, and we were basically talking about how when the pandemic occurred, it put people in a literal and metaphorical bubble. And when it comes to music, people really fell back into what they like to listen to, as opposed to what their snobby elitist friends like to listen to. And I'm talking specifically in the realm of alternative heavy music, because there are a lot of snobby elitist people who think that,
Not hardcore enough.
yeah, Knocked Loose isn't metal. Death metal is better than deathcore. Fuck everybody who doesn't listen to hardcore.
I liked them more when their lead singer was abusing somebody.
Yeah, yeah.
God.
So I think that
Stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I think because of that, people really started to make music that they actually enjoyed again, and really like to actually listen to, and not listen to for the sake of other people's approval. So I think that it's been 4 years, or I guess last year would have been 4 years since the pandemic, and I think we're finally starting to get back to good touring cycles, good band lineups on tours, great albums that feel really genuine, and I think this year's only going to get better. So that's what we're going to be diving deeper into.
I'd say, and I think it's a really cool juxtaposition that your music very much exists in the present, while mine kind of comes from the past.
Yeah.
Because I feel like not to like take away from new music, because I will listen to anything really, and I still love a lot of like current music stuff coming out. I mean, like just like two examples, like Sabrina Carpenter and Chappell Roan have been popping out nothing but bangers, dude.
Yeah. As much as I hate hearing it at my job, because I do,
because you work at a bar, and it's like they're
You hear
the
it
pump
all
up
the time.
they're the pump up songs, so of course they're gonna play them over and over again.
Yep.
But they are good songs.
They are good
it's
songs.
Yeah, they are great, man. But you hear enough of a good thing, it turns into a bad
turns
thing.
into a bad
Unfortunately,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why I mean I do get it in chunkage, because I only really listen to those artists unless I'm like I admit it's like an earworm. I need to listen to it to get it out.
Yeah.
I only really listen to it when I'm with Bree.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. But it's very much still like I'm happy I'm listening to this because I enjoy these songs. I think Chappell Roan
I think,
has got her due diligence finally after how many years of performing.
I think if she doesn't win like 1 million awards, I'm gonna be like pissed, because she's just.
When are the Grammys?
I don't know.
Soon.
I don't know. I
I
don't pay
don't
attention
know
to like award
awards.
shows or anything like that, but like I don't know. She deserves it for sure.
Yeah,
Definitely.
She's worth the hype.
If
Yeah.
they're gonna put her somewhere in like up and coming artist, even though she's been at it for a while, but she had a good year last year.
Mm-hmm.
Totally agree.
Like especially after
Lollapalooza.
Lala, yeah, it was just chaperone,
Crowd was
chaperone.
insane, man.
Dude, I'm really happy for her because I think she has that energy of performance that's like, yeah, you want to get up and dance because her music's like that and her energy's like that, and if you can't find yourself tapping your foot to this music, you're not fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not fun. I hate to break it to you. She's fun. She's
Yeah.
fun to listen to.
She's fun to listen to.
Even if you're tapping your foot or your steering wheel or anything, yeah, just give her a listen.
Yeah.
And like Sabrina Carpenter, also fantastic. Her album was very good.
Was really good. Yeah.
Very like just banger after banger as well. I haven't listened to her as much as Chaperone because I
Yeah.
think Chaperone is just slightly more electric for me, but that does not take away from
Oh,
Sabrina
yeah.
Carpenter.
No, for
But
sure.
yeah, like, you're not kidding when you say 2024 was a really good year for music, and I think it was a good year for music for like everybody.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, Ryan, I feel like it'd be nice for us to start with you talking about. Just
Well,
give us a couple of examples of albums that you really like and why you like them.
I'm kind of in the vein of James. I listen to old music. I listen to new music, but Billie Eilish's album
Yeah. This
is
is amazing.
huge.
What was her most current
That
one?
It's called Hit Me Hard and Soft. It came
Yeah.
out 2024.
Yep.
And it is my favorite album of the year, probably. It's either that or Joji's album, which came out in 2022.
Okay.
Called Smithereens.
Yeah.
I listened to that one.
Come
I know. I
Funny.
see you listening to that one all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. But yeah, that
Is he putting another album out soon?
I don't know, but
Dang,
I
because that album
mean,
was really good.
yeah, I really like Billie Eilish. I think she's an amazing artist, and her music is very well produced.
Yeah.
So she's definitely a professional.
Joji's Pipeline, I'll just say real quick, from Filthy
Joji.
Frank.
As people,
Joji's
If you know, you know.
as three middle schoolers in 2012,
Dude, we knew.
Dude,
Oh my god!
I knew.
Oh,
the edge
dude,
lords. We're the edge lords. of
that
our
was
school.
Hey, what can we get away with,
Dude,
and still
now-
call it funny?
Yeah. Oh, it was on the precipice of being terrible, like
Yeah.
bad.
Just
Yeah.
just pure degeneracy.
Yeah, his pipeline's been really cool. I would love to know more about like his story as a person because the music that he makes is really sad.
I feel
Yeah.
like there was like a 2-3 year disappearance before he was like, oh, he's Joji now.
Yes, I think.
Where
I-
it's like, oh, it's Filthy Frank is dead.
He's gone. Like yeah,
It's
he just
like-
ended it.
Yep.
He just-
but he still has all of the content and videos up, which
Yep.
I'm like, that's crazy. That's a crazy move. First
Yeah.
of all,
Well, I mean, he was playing a character. Like he wasn't playing himself in those videos. He was
Right.
playing a souped up version of I
Quite
don't even
literally the
know.
extreme.
Yeah, just an extreme version of maybe himself
or a content creator at the
Yeah.
time. I don't know.
a vein of like his thoughts maybe of just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
him imploding that and just making it
We
into-
can't justify it.
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
It was just the most degenerate stuff. For
I
like
could
years.
justify Pink Guy though, I think.
So you had the Billie Eilish album, the new one, and then you had
Yeah.
Joji's 2022 release.
As well as Phineas,
Oh, okay.
which
Nice.
is Billie Eilish's brother, released an album this year, I think. It was called
Was there a second brother named Ferb or?
oh, it was just called For Crying Out Loud. Yeah, his I
What
wish,
the fuck?
man.
That was a sneaker of a joke.
Oh
his
my
main
gosh.
song in that is For Crying Out Loud, and I would highly recommend giving that a listen,
Okay.
if not the
Word,
whole album,
word.
because yeah, he's a good artist as
Okay,
well.
nice.
Yeah, that the Gorillaz, Tame Impala. I've been listening to just a lot of like vibey, like flowy music
Indie.
that is just like super easy to listen to. Olivia Rodrigo. I don't know if she hasn't really released much. I
Yeah,
don't
not
think
recently.
this year,
I-
but
I mean, I could
was
totally be wrong.
was
on that.
Brat Charlie XCX?
Yes.
oh yeah, Charlie XCX.
Yeah.
I've been listening to a lot of.
Is
her, too.
the XCX something special that I don't know, or is
I-
it just XCX?
I'm a fish out of water with that. I
Are
don't
we?
know.
I love Guests featuring Billie Eilish.
Are we at a
You
touch
guys
gang?
need to listen to that song. because
my
it's
my
fucking
girlfriend
crazy.
went through a very big Charlie XCX phase.
Dude,
She-
Charlie XCX is like
Okay.
friggin' awesome.
Can we get her on the horn? Hey, is this right?
Yeah, is this
Fact-
true?
I know she's at work right now. But
Yeah. Yeah.
babe, this is super important.
Please, I have a question. I don't be mad. I know you're at work.
Probably super busy. It's a Saturday night.
But yeah.
What else? MGMT. I'm just naming artists.
Yeah,
now
dude,
that
please.
I've been
Yeah.
listening to. Yes.
Did you hear a song last year and it was like it was powerful, like it felt like it spoke to you?
A powerful song that spoke to me. I actually have this year.
Yeah.
Um,
In 2025 already?
In 2025 already, there's a song that I really enjoy. It's by this guy named Peter McPoland. He's like our age. I'm pretty sure he's like maybe a year older or
word.
younger
Yeah.
than us. I don't know. But he's released a song called Digital Silence.
Nice.
And I really enjoy that song. I would
That's
highly
sick,
recommend listening to it. It's good. It's a good one.
Nice.
And he's kind of like indie, kind of like Tame Impala a little bit.
Word.
I really enjoy him. So
Yeah.
yeah.
It's stoner music,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
which is not a dig. That's just
No, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Nice.
it's atmospheric. It's got stuff that you can be like, hell yeah.
Well,
to.
I also love listening to everything. Like
Yeah.
jazz. I'll turn on jazz when I'm just like doing something, because like it just listening to music while you're doing a task makes that task so much more enjoyable.
Pretty sure
in
it's
my
been
opinion.
shown that it makes you more productive too, depending on
Yeah.
the type of music. Well, if it's something you like.
Because then,
Yeah.
then that circles back into the music is human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Circle.
James, what about you? Do you want to go next?
So yeah,
Talking about-
I mean, you've invited me.
I am inviting you.
Oh, thank you,
Yeah.
thank you. I'd like to take a moment first and foremost. Quick Patrick break.
Patrick, how we doing?
Conked out,
Yeah.
He's out, man.
asleep.
Mm.
This cat's big as hell. I just want to reiterate.
Yeah,
that.
once
He's
again,
big as.
big cat, not
We
the
can
biggest,
Yeah.
not the biggest cat I've ever seen. That's still very much
Lenny.
that crown goes to Lenny.
Lenny.
That
yeah.
cat is a chunk.
Huge cat.
You know when you look at a cat and it's just wow, they have big ass paws, and then you look at the rest of the cat and it's like damn,
That's a
Yeah.
big ass cat.
damn, Thurk. Sorry, the last time I picked up Lenny, I went to go pick him up and I went, oh my god. I was like, oh, what have I been feeding you? Because you are too damn big. But you're doing great, buddy. This is your first podcast performance. You're doing a
He's
fantastic
chilling,
job,
man.
Amazing.
So I have my Spotify stats up on my phone because I would not know these off the top of my head.
Cool.
My number one album that I listened to the most apparently was Metal by Pink Floyd. It's stoner music.
Yeah.
I know it is. Prog rock, psych rock. I go to my genres. It's like my top 5 are rock, classic rock, album rock, soft rock, and then alternative sneaks its way in there.
Nice.
But it's
Cool.
it's all rock. I'm a rock guy.
Yeah.
I like the basic structure of sick ass guitars, thumping bass, and good drums
Yeah,
and
man.
vocals.
A little 4 to the floor.
Yeah, there you go. It's the majority of bands of that 60s 70s era had 4.
Yeah.
And then every so often you'd have a 5th because maybe the 4 are your instruments and the vocalist is separate. But a lot of the music that I listen to is that 4-man setup. I mean, predominantly number one. My first band has been the Beatles for like last 3 years. It's going to continue to be the Beatles probably. But then my next album, kind of a curveball because I wasn't expecting this. It's Currents by Tame Impala.
Heck yeah.
I think I listened to Let It Happen a lot more than I thought I did last year because
Love that
it's a
song.
good song.
Do I need to get on the? Okay, serious question. Never listened to Tame Impala. I've listened to like a little bit, and I realized it was kind of like bordering lo-fi, like lo-fi alternative,
Yeah.
whatever. Do I need to listen to Tame Impala?
I think so.
I think
Okay.
in terms of just like to know what that scene is like.
Yeah.
Obviously, like the less I know, the better. Is like that was a meme song there for a
Yeah.
while.
Listen to that and just MGMT. Like, get a playlist with MGMT, Tame Impala, Cage the Elephant, something like that.
Cage
the
the Elephant.
Elephant,
You'll be chilling. Like that's the playlist right there.
It's a
for that
recipe
vein.
for the vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to vibe out for like 2 hours.
I'll tell you how.
So number 3 was Revolver by the Beatles. 2 years ago was that album's 50th anniversary.
Wow.
And using the technology that they used there for the Let It Be the Get Back project, which was George Martin's son I believe Giles is his name, and Peter Jackson, who is the Lord of the Rings guy, helped or were on teams that developed like AI that goes back and like
Peter Jackson didn't write Lord of the Rings.
not right, but he was the director.
Oh, okay.
That's
right,
what I
right,
meant.
Yeah.
Sorry, not Tolkien. I'm not talking.
So sorry. I was wait. Hold on. You were.
Dude, those books are really old, and Peter Jackson's only like in his 50s.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No, the guy who he directed the movies.
Did he
right?
also write The Lightning Thief? Or was it Percy Jackson?
That'd be
Percy
Rick
Jackson.
Riordan, I think.
Rick Riordan, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, pass.
Did not know that the arch was not that far away from the water.
Yeah.
Always gonna be really funny. He's like, "What do you mean he made that jump?" Oh man.
Anyway, sorry.
Percy Jackson.
That took me far longer than it should have to understand what you were saying. But anyway,
You're good.
Go ahead.
But they were on teams that like used AI to like clean up the recording they got in '69 to like it was able to pick up sounds and like recreate what they sounded like. Essentially, it was just touching it up with AI to make borderline unusable footage into something that could be like put together. It was like a multi-year project. I don't know how many exactly, but like it took them years to get all that stuff put together, and then they came out with like I want to say 6 hours of footage for a special on Disney Plus. That's like the recording of Let It Be, the album, and then like the rooftop performance. And I'd highly recommend it if you're either a Beatles fan or like musical historian. It's a very important, or I mean, obviously I'm a little biased, but I think it's a very important performance in rock and roll history, music history,
Definitely.
etc. I'd highly recommend. If you have time to kill, just go watch it. You can see, because it's interesting to see, like, when you talk about the Beatles, it's like, oh my God, it's these 4 musicians from heaven coming together to be the best band ever, or so some people would say.
Yeah.
And then the Get Back
Well, that's
project,
Tenacious D. Everybody knows the greatest band in the world is Tenacious D.
Obviously.
Yeah, fair enough. My mistake. And
They wrote the greatest song in the world.
Yeah.
They did, and therefore they're the greatest band in the world.
Right.
Exactly.
Of course.
Boom, boom. AB, we got it.
They also wrote the tribute to the greatest song in the world.
Right, because that song technically wasn't the greatest song in the world. It was just a tribute.
Knowing that,
You guys know,
everything else I've said was a lie about them, so they must not be the greatest band.
No. They did do the greatest song. It's in the Pick of Destiny. It's
Yeah,
the end.
yeah, because that's the documentary.
No. That's the movie.
No, the song "The Pick of
Oh.
Destiny."
Yeah.
I mean, like documentary, like
at the
it's
end
not,
of
it's
the
not
movie.
fictitious,
the
like it's real.
The Pick of Destiny. Have you guys not seen that movie?
Oh, I have, but it's been a long time. Did they actually write the greatest song in the world?
Yeah, to beat the devil at the end. Remember?
Fuck,
Yeah.
I guess I don't remember.
I
Yeah.
haven't seen
It's
that movie.
it's not the greatest song in the world.
All I know is that
No, it is actually.
all I know is that
I
I
was just
think
kidding.
I think Dio talks to a young Jack Black until the movie starts. I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Jack Black goes.
Exactly. Just like that. To get back to the Beatles.
Yes,
to
sorry.
get back
Get back.
to the Beatles. The project really strips away that like aura, and it's just like 4 dudes in their 20s who just happen to also be in a very popular band. It's like, oh, these are just dudes doing their thing. At one point, George Harrison like half quits, like kind of quits the band for like 3 days, and the footage is just Paul McCartney like playing around on like construction, like scaffolding, because they were setting up the set for their performance. It's just him swinging on it. There's like just 10 minutes of footage of that.
Nice.
So it's footage like that, and then it just gives like an insight on to their like creative process, which I think is just really cool. But enough yapping about that. The Get Back project, the technology they used in that, they've since been using to go back and remaster again their albums, both the stereo and the mono, but also they're compiling old footage and recordings and snippets and demos and anything they can really get their hands on from that time, and they're packing it all together, and they're putting it in what they call a super deluxe, which is the songs remastered. They've been put through that AI program, like really like separate the instruments, because I don't know if you're not listening to the Beatles, currently, or if at all. The 2009 remasters, which were the standard up until about a couple years ago, the meme where it's like, well, I want to listen to X band, but if I have to have one headphone out, I only get one, like 2 or 3 instruments,
Right,
like,
right.
the vocals. The 2009 remasters of the Beatles music really suffered from, they put like the bass and the vocal in the one channel, and they put the guitars and the drumming in the other channel. And it really suffered from that, because if you had to take out an earphone or headphone for whatever reason, you would only be getting half the song. Bless you. So with the Super Deluxe, you only get one. Sorry.
Back to itching the nose.
Aw.
Poor guy.
The Super Deluxe, it goes back and it separates them even more, so the sound isn't as muddy, and you can clearly hear each instrument as it was meant, like a visioned out or thought out in the 60s,
Yeah.
but now using the technology of today.
Nice.
So my third most listened to album is the Super Deluxe of their 1966 album Revolver,
Nice.
which released, I believe, 2 years ago. I bought so much stuff that I probably shouldn't have when that album released. I was like, oh, you gonna have a sneezing fit, buddy?
Yeah, he's just
Yeah.
going through it.
Okay.
Poor guy.
Need some kitty Benadryl or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Catnip.
Mm.
Take the
He
edge off a
loves
little.
catnip.
Stick- hey, little dude, this'll help. That was my number 3. It is, I think, one of their, if not their best album.
Nice.
Which I don't think not too many people. So that might be a little controversial amongst Beatles fans. I didn't think that it would be so contested what their number 1 album would be, and if you say something that's before 67, they're like, what are you talking about? Those albums stink. And it's like, well, no, actually, I think they're better and of a higher quality,
Yeah.
because they're actually performing together as opposed to separate, because they want to be on drugs and in their own studios,
Nice.
or boinking Yoko Ono. John Lennon, you son of a bitch. I liked you when you were fat. Now you're skinny and evil.
Yeah. Evil
You say-
John Lennon.
You say
be like,
words you're not supposed to say. It's called art. No, John, you can't say that word. Stupid asshole. I'm a John Lennon hater at heart.
I can see it,
sometimes.
yeah.
I love him in the Beatles and I love his music, but damn, that dude, very complicated. Anyway, moving on. We could talk about John Lennon and how he was evil, but I think
Yeah.
for the sake of the pod, my number 4 and number 5 albums were both MF Doom albums. I have tried to collect as much information on him as I can to like know his backstory and stuff, but he, I believe, got his start. Yeah, this first album, my number 4 album was his album Food, which released in 2003.
Nice.
On the cusp of 2004, like, yeah, the 31st of December. And then, yeah, Mad Villainy, which was my 5th album, March 2004. So
Nice.
he was big in the early 2000s, and he, I think, is a very talented rap artist. He has, I think his most famous song would be Rap Snitch Knishes. He was introduced to me by RJ.
Nice.
Yeah, kind
James's twin brother.
Yes, and saying
We've glazed over that before, but just for
I think like
clarification.
every episode we've.
yeah, probably.
Yeah,
I
just
talk
for
about him all the time.
clarification.
I love
Yeah.
talking about my brother, apparently. But he, very talented, mix artist as well. Excuse me. Oh, goodness, my smoothie's coming back.
Oh, that's not where it should be coming.
No, it should not. It should be staying down. But unfortunately, my body is an enigma and it does stupid things sometimes. So, and now I get to retaste strawberry. And now you get to hear about it. Anyway, he is famous for putting like the old Fantastic Four cartoon from like I want to say like the 70s. He'll put like snippets of that as samples in his song or in his songs. He has a very distinct style of music, of rapping.
His flow is very unique.
It is.
Yeah.
He's very creative with what he says. It's a jargon of words to describe what he did, like in terms of like style of speaking. But it's almost like a poem, but he has a string of lyrics that are so complex that there are multiple like different things at once. Like not only is it like it kind of reads like a sonnet at some points. It just the way he's so creative and so unique in his words and his wordplay and what he's rapping about and what he's saying, and then like the backing track is so, I mean, funky, and it's always something creative, and it always sounds so clean and so good, and I really like it.
Yeah,
And
nice.
it kind of kickstarted my like re-dive into like hip hop and rap. It's like, oh, I actually really like this stuff.
Yeah.
I just in terms of like my music knowledge and my music taste, it's something that I hadn't listened to predominantly in a long time. So yeah, so thank you to MF Doom for rekindling my love for hip hop.
Thank you, MF Doom. Thank you, Mr. MF Doom.
He is very dead.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If you didn't know, sorry, spoiler alert. For a man who was real, I believe he passed away due to complications with COVID 4 years ago. So he is not making any more music.
Dang.
Yep.
But his legacy is secure. I mean, I think there's a very famous photo of like him doing a show or performing or something, and then like Tyler the Creator is like front row in the crowd.
Yeah.
It's like his legacy and what he did for the genre and for music. Like he's secure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he definitely
Definitely.
pushed forward. Those were my top 5 albums of the year.
Nice. Cool, man.
Some decent variation, I think.
Yeah.
But I've yapped enough. Adam,
Oh,
what's up, man?
hey.
What was your
what's up?
2024 music looking like?
It was a lot. It was very, very broad, very extensive. I have a picture here. I don't have a. I will be able to remember. So what I did was I basically compiled, I believe 16. Hold on, let me find this picture. Oh, so I had 16 albums that I thought were worthy of mention, but I won't. Obviously, for time's sake, I won't mention all 16. But these were all over the board: alternative, emo, metal, death metal, hardcore. So I guess I'm going to have a hard time picking out any of the 4. So I'll probably just go over like 3 super quickly that I thought were really impactful for me. And then I'll just like list the rest in case anyone else is interested. So the first one that was like I don't even know if I could have an album of the year if I had to pick, because I just, they were all so good. But a band that I have been a fan of for almost their entire duration. I have been listening to this band since 2015 or 2016. Enterprise Earth. They have been all over the board as far as what type of metal they play. They were originally founded by the basically front person for Infinite Annihilator, which is basically a genre-defining metal band, just like insane lyrics. If anybody doesn't know who Infinite Annihilator is, they have literally broken so many boundaries for what people thought. They took everything that bands like Cannibal Corpse and Obituary did, and even
insane band name.
yeah, and just
Sorry.
Yeah, no, it is an insane band name. And they took everything that they did and wrote about, Cannibal Corpse being one of the most outgoing bands lyrically. I mean, they have the famous songs that everybody knows about. They've been mentioned in like Ace Ventura, like I Come Blood, being like, everybody knows I Come Blood. Everybody knows Hammer Smashed Face, and they have so many other albums. There was an album, I can't remember which one because I'm not honestly like a huge Cannibal Corpse guy. It wasn't allowed for sale in certain countries because it was, I'm not sure if it was like the album art was too grotesque.
Oh wow.
It was fucked.
Banned in
Yeah,
in
it was
countries?
banned. It was banned for sale.
Jeez.
So Enterprise Earth, anyway, founded by Dan Watson and a couple of other guys. It's basically progressed now to where there are no original members. It's basically a completely new band. I've seen them, I think, four or 5 times now, and they have been amazing every single time. I actually have a piece of their musical history, so I ended up buying the guitar off of their guitarist.
I remember
Yep.
hearing about that.
Yeah, I was super excited about it. So he used it to record what might possibly be my favorite album of all time, The Chosen, by Enterprise Earth. Was released in January of 2022. And like that period of my life, I was going through a lot of changes. In the midst of coming out of a global pandemic, just in the like personal trials and tribulations that I was going through, it was really, really nice to have a piece of music that I genuinely loved. It was a legitimate no skip album, not a single song I would skip. So that album, they came out with an album in early 2024. I think it was in February of last year, called Death and Anthology. Really good. And then Knocked Loose obviously came out with an album last year. They were just on Jimmy Fallon. So
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
They
that's
were on
awesome.
Jimmy, or I think it was Jimmy Fallon, right?
Was it one of the Jimmys?
Yeah, I don't know. Ryan, check this because I don't know why I'm forgetting.
There are a lot of late night hosts.
I think
Sorry.
it was Jimmy Fallon. I think they were on Jimmy Fallon's late night, and they played. Oh my God, the song with Poppy, "Suffocate." I don't know if they did an entire set or if they just played "Suffocate," but that was like
Jimmy Kimmel.
Jimmy Kimmel.
Ah,
Yes, not Jimmy
yeah.
Fallon. Yeah, Jimmy Kimmel. They were on Jimmy Kimmel Live, and they killed it. They had a great set. Their album "You Won't Go Before You're Supposed To" was really good. I saw them in early 2024 as well. I was really fortunate enough to see them with Loathe, and I was supposed to see them with Speed and Show Me the Body, but the guys that I went with, we were very late. So, and then if I had to pick another album to round out that top three, I would have to say it's got to be a toss-up between One Step Closer's album All You Embrace, which is a really fun, really confessional, emo, pop punk album. Hardcore. It's kind of hardcore. It's a little all over the place, but it's really awesome. Highly recommend it. And then Nails' album, Every Bridge Burning. Nails is a grind band, a death metal grind, hardcore band. It's literally 10 songs, 17 minutes. It's the fastest, most fun record I've heard in a super long time. It's heavy. It's kind of dark. It's very anti-establishment. It's very like the world kind of sucks and like I know it, but
Do the songs like bleed into each other, or they like
Yeah.
each one? Okay, so
yes, kind of.
I like when
It's heavy.
I like albums that do that. I like where I feel like there are no seams, where it's just like, all right, we are getting through, like not getting through it, but like we're progressing. This it's telling a story. It's going somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if it's a concept album per se.
It's not. I don't believe it's a concept album. I think the concept kind of stems from the name itself. Every Bridge Burning. It talks a lot about, from what I've gathered, and obviously I don't know if Todd, the vocalist and guitarist, would agree, but it seems to be a lot about personal exploration and dynamics relating to other people and society. They have a song called "I Can't Turn It Off" that's basically, he said this live. He was like, this song's about being a piece of shit. And I wish I could recall some of the lyrics off the top of my head, but it's awesome. And then the last song on the album is called "No More Rivers to Cross," and it's awesome. It's just heavy, but yeah. Other notable mentions: Full of Hell's album, Coagulated Bliss, Garia's album that came out. I don't remember what that was called. Walking Wounded's album. Lots of good stuff. But yeah, it was a really good year for music. I'm excited for this year. 2025 is looking to be even better than last year, I do believe.
And I think we should definitely, as a group, go to more shows.
Yeah, seriously.
agree.
If our schedules allow.
I just like seeing music live.
Yeah.
I think that's where you best experience it.
Yeah.
Is I think what really, like, listening to music is one thing, but hearing it live is like what makes that, once again, getting back to that like human connection, is like it's right there.
Well,
Yeah.
and to be honest, there's been a lot of bands that I've seen live. Like, again, I've seen a lot of bands. I've gone to a lot of shows, and there's been a lot of bands that I've seen live that I would not have traditionally chosen to listen to and stream had I not seen them live and seen the energy that they were bringing to the audience. And I think there's something about that and the way that connects with the listener that makes you want more.
Yeah.
A great example is Knuckle Puck. Like, I honestly have not gone out of my way much ever to listen to Knuckle Puck, but I'm glad I went to that show because they just seemed super appreciative. And another great example is when I saw Nails back in September. That guy, they're just stupid aggressive and stupid heavy and like very abrasive to the ear, but that guy was just so genuinely grateful. After every song, he was like, thank you so much for being here. Like, it was really cool. So
Before we end the pod, Christmas happened. Obviously,
Yeah.
I gave some gifts out to all my friends, including James. James got some Beatles stuff.
I did, but we're exploiting Adam for views. So
Yes. So I didn't get to see Adam before
This is
Christmas.
my gift.
So
This is content.
we get to see Adam open his beautiful gift.
Dude.
Oh my god.
What does it say?
What is that? Let me just.
Oh shit!
What the Sigma?
So this is. Oh shit!
Yeah,
this
dude.
is fucking awesome.
Dude,
Holy
Dude,
shit!
new pump cover.
try it on, man.
No, you don't gotta
Dude.
try it on. You have the room to try
I
it
won't
on?
try it on. But,
Explain to the listeners what we got
Yeah,
here.
to our video.
For let me poise myself a little bit here.
Collect.
Ryan got me a shirt, and it's a black gilded heavy cotton tee.
All right.
And it is a poorly resolved picture of a cat with a semi-human face that says in top bottom text, "What the Sigma?" But it's also like covered in lightning, and it looks sick. It's like one of those like what was that brand of T-shirts that made like the stupid ones like
Oh, God.
"Born to Shit, Forced to Wipe."
I don't know.
You know,
Really?
it's like that.
It's something you get from Spencer's. Or
This
something.
is like
Yeah.
a Spencer's T-shirt,
It's-
but way cooler.
It's like
Yeah.
you do. I bet you went to like Etsy or something.
No, it's TikTok shop.
TikTok shop.
I am
TikTok shop,
totally
baby.
wearing this. This is sick.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, I love meme shirts like that.
Meme
man.
shirts are
Those
great.
awesome. Well, Merry
sh-
Christmas.
Yeah.
Ryan,
Yeah,
I love you, bro.
I love you too, man.
Bro.
And to our viewers out there, we love you.
Yeah.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. Going forward, I think our schedule will be, we're going to try as hard as we can.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be a little bit more organized, but obviously life gets in the way. So
Yeah.
we're like at the longest, an episode a month.
Yeah.
That would be like
That would be our
That
goal.
would be ideal.
Yeah.
ideal. Would be every 2
but
weeks.
we're
Every
gonna-
2 weeks, like we
We're
want
going to try our
to.
hardest.
But
We're going to try
you know,
our
and we've said this before. You know, independent operation. We've only got so much manpower.
Yeah.
Ryan is everything in terms of our editorial and
Yep.
producing
Yeah.
and everything. So once again, very very late happy holidays.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening, and to one very special Jarhead. We are trying to make more content, I swear.
Yes.
We are trying to make more content.
For you specifically. This
It's-
was,
Yeah, I don't know who you're referring to, but
There's
oh,
one,
you know. I'll
there's-
tell you later.
okay.
there's a few jarheads out there who do I think
Dedicated.
listen. There's some dedicated jarheads.
You know what?
Oh,
Yeah, you know. Yeah, you
I
know
think
what
I
I'm
know.
talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
there's a few dedicated
Yeah.
jarheads out there.
yeah, and
We've got a few.
We got some loyal subscribers.
like 2 or 3
So
that
for-
like would watch the thing. All
so
the
for
way
anybody
through.
who's following us, and this is now the 4th episode of the Thought Jar, thanks for riding this out.
Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for
And if you remember first episode when we all had different microphones and we were
Yeah.
holding them,
Yeah.
primordial status.
Oh my
Truly.
Mm-hmm.
Heathen.
every day is a new improvement we can make to this show. So
Yes,
thanks for coming
exactly.
along on the
Yeah.
ride with us. We really appreciate
You
it.
can follow us on Instagram. You can stream this on Spotify. The video version is available on YouTube. We're also on the Google Place.
no,
What are we on?
We're not on the Google.
We haven't gotten an app yet.
I think we're just on Spotify and YouTube.
Apple Music, right?
We have our socials.
We're not on
We're
Apple
not
Music.
on Apple
TikTok?
Music. There's
Wow.
no podcasts on Apple Music. There is a podcast app,
That's what I.
but I did not upload it.
That's
I've not been
Kind of
uploading.
dumb.
I've
So-
just been doing Spotify and YouTube.
I
and
think
Yeah.
that's a good place to be for right now.
posting stuff, of course, on TikTok,
Yeah.
Instagram,
as
Yeah.
you
all
can.
of the stuff.
We
Yeah.
know boomers. We don't have Facebook.
No Facebook.
We're not getting Facebook.
No.
I'm
sorry,
we're
guys.
not getting Facebook.
Not
I
happening.
know that some of our jarheads are really into that whole Facebook dealio,
Yeah.
but
We might get over on Red Note soon. Who knows?
yeah, you know.
Oh, a whole new culture of listeners.
Yeah,
I can-
exactly.
We're gonna reach.
That's
We're
what
gonna,
I'm
we're gonna
saying.
breach that market. We're gonna be #1 in China.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if we blow up because of Red
Dude.
Note?
that would be crazy.
That would be
I don't.
I don't know if I really want to be honest.
Yeah.
I think I'm fine being.
yeah.
We
I'm-
get like a letter from like the Chinese government just being like, "Hey, you're like huge here."
We're,
It's just
we're
like,
inviting you out to.
Here's a cease and desist order.
he's just stop being so popular. Dang it! Sorry, China. The power of the jar cannot be contained.
Exactly.
That's why we have to open it.
We gotta burp it every so often. You gotta let them out.
Like Patrick, you got to burp him every now and then.
Yeah.
Patrick, thanks for stopping by, man. Thanks for being a part of the episode.
He's been a good boy. He hasn't interrupted too much.
He hasn't.
No.
So maybe we can get like a Patrick cam or something.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll get the sneeze cam.
Exactly.
But yes, so thank you for tuning in to the 4th episode of the Thought Jar podcast. Listen on Spotify, YouTube, follow us on Instagram, TikTok for updates, and we'll be back with episode 5 before
Whenever we can.
Right.
Before you know it, yeah.
Yeah.
Say thanks for watching.
Bye, Thought Jarians.
Goodbye.